Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Glad you could join me. We're working a little bit late tonight and trying to get the last thing finished up this Friday evening. And wasn't sure if I was going to make a video on this, but I decided I will. This is a 2017 Chevrolet Silverado. It has a code of U1510 stored in the engine control module. It does not have louvers that respond to the scan tool. So I'm going to go through how we test this system, and as far as I could tell, there was not a whole lot of information out here on this. Even in Identifix, I couldn't find hardly anything except for, people that had wrote in and asking about it. So I'll go through all that, show you guys what I've found, and we'll see if we can get this thing diagnosed correctly. Now, we will not be replacing any parts because the customer is kind of a DIYer himself, so he wants me to just diagnose it and then allow him to fix it, which I'm perfectly fine with. That's no problem at all. I know him, I trust him. He just didn't have the information available to diagnose it himself. So come along, because this should be, hopefully, will be fairly interesting. Contact! Okay, so I'm going to show you guys a little bit of what I've found here. So we come in here and we check U1510 on Identifix for what we need to check here. Now, they call it the motor module, which is basically the Active Grille shutter assembly. The motor and the module are down in behind there, but you have to replace the whole thing. Obviously, as we can see, that there's all the confirmed fixes are the motor module, the grille. However, you should never assume that because everybody else has had this problem, that we don't have a problem with the wiring somewhere. So we need to test the integrity of the wiring, make sure that we have everything there, and it won't take long to do that. That's pretty easy to do, but what happens is, because this thing is so new, I'm not able to get a wiring diagram here. We'll come down here and pull that up. My internet's being extremely slow tonight, or maybe it's the Identifix, I don't know. But yeah, so what comes up is it'll be the direct hit information request form to obtain this information, and so then that will basically send an email requesting all the wiring information. So, but what I can do is, and I really wish there was a wiring diagram here, but there isn't. So, or not that I can find. I guess I could come back here. But basically what I need to know power and ground to the motor module or the grille up there. I need to verify voltage at pin 1, which is the violet blue wire. It is powered by fuse for F47UA and the X50A fuse block, the underhood fuse block basically. And then we need a good ground on black wire at pin 4. The LIN data wire is going to be the green violet wire. So these are the three that we need to verify that are good. And if they are good, we're going to need to replace the module or the shutter. So as you can see here, it's actually a pretty simple repair. Once we get the front grille off of there, which is not that hard to get off, you just replace that whole shutter assembly. I think there's like 9 screws, it said. Yep, front bumper shutter bolt 9 times. So then when you tighten them, 53 inch-pounds, and then Yeah, you just pull the bumper shutter upward and outward from the front bumper impact bar, disconnect the electrical connector, and switch it out, put your new one in. But we want to verify. That's why it's here, is for us to verify that that's what is wrong. I am not going to tell the customer to change that thing just by looking at the wiring. So we're going to do some tests and verify that that's what's going on. So I've written down on a piece of paper here which wires I need to check. Violet blue needs 12 volt, black is the ground, green violet is the data line. So this thing works off of LIN bus, which is local interconnect network, I believe is what it's supposed to be. But basically it sends a waveform and the computer interprets that. And so what is happening with this code is the LIN bus data is not coming back to the ECM the way it wants to see it. Whether that's you know, a faulty reading or whatever that is, we don't, I mean, I don't know for sure, but it lost communication. It needs power and ground and varying voltage, which is our data, green and violet. It should be varying voltage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, we're going to unplug this, pull it apart, make sure there's no green crusties in here which there shouldn't be, because, you know, it's not that old, but you never know. That all looks good. And let's look in through there. That all looks good. Okay. So we can do a couple of things here. We can either use a headlamp bulb to check the power and ground on this, but I want to back probe this thing, I believe, to verify the voltages here. So I'm going to plug this in. Also, the voltage needs to be checked with the key on. So this is a keyed on power on violet and blue, which violet and blue is going to be this one. All right, it's going to be this one right here, and that's going to be this hole right there. Hopefully you guys can see that. Here, let's get some light on the subject. Okay, so basically this is pin 1, pin 2. That's going to be your violet and blue wire, and then our communication wire is going to be pin 3, which is green and violet. Yes, so we want to check positive and negative here with the key on, this thing plugged in. So I'm going to get my stuff set up here and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my probes in here. We've back probed this. I'm going to go turn the key on. Let's see if we get any voltage coming up on the meter there. We should see full battery voltage. What do we see? Guys, tell me. All right, so we have battery voltage up to this on the back side of the plug-in here. All right, so now what we need to check is, do we have LIN bus communication voltage or varying voltage? And as you can see, we do have that. So it's kind of staying pretty steady. If I had a meter, and I could get a meter or get my scan tool, my Snap-on scan tool has it available, and also my Autel has it available. But these three simple checks, we can tell that we have battery voltage up to our module here, and we also have LIN bus voltage, which is varying voltage. As we could see, it wasn't quite battery voltage, but it was going up and down, and there would be a waveform. If what I was getting at on my scan tool, you know, we could hook it up with a waveform and it would show us a waveform. We don't really need that to know, because I can't interpret that. I don't know what kind of waveform it's supposed to have, but we need to have varying voltage. And obviously what it appears like is this module up front here has failed. Actually, we can confidently say it has failed. With it having varying voltage, we know that our circuit from our ECM to here should be good, because it's got voltage on the green wire, so which is the data wire. I'm hopefully this makes sense to you guys, and I've explained it well enough to give you guys a good idea of how to test this. I mean, obviously this is not hard. And if you need more information on the LIN bus system, there's a lot of helpful videos out there on YouTube that can explain it more in depth than what I can, by guys that are much better teachers. So I'm going to recommend a new shutter assembly. He is going to do that all himself. It's not hard. Obviously, it's just pop this front grill off of here, remove the 9 screws that hold the shutter assembly in, unplug it here, and replace it, and it should be good to go. Now, there is no problem with this thing being like this. Obviously, they're open, so that's good. That closes, and I believe it closes to keep stuff out of there when it's shut off, because as soon as it starts, it should open up, and then I think it varies with the temperature outside. I'm not 100% sure how that all works, but it's not moving at all. So on our scan tool, we're supposed to be able to open and close that, and I have done this test already, and I've verified that it does not work. But if you come in here on functional tests okay, let's just go back. All right, so we go in our engine, we go in our functional tests, we come on output controls, active grille shutter 1 and 2, and basically this comes here, continue, and we should be able to open and close this by toggling that, and nothing happens. I've checked that already. So like I said, I wasn't sure if I was going to make a video on it, but I decided to then about halfway through. But I will tell you, I did not, before I started this video, I did not check voltage. So you guys know when I knew that we have a bad shutter assembly. So this was not tested before the video. I started this video after I pulled this top piece off of here, which is basically this right here, held in by all of this, and that is water, by the way. I promise you that's water. So yep, that's how you do it. It's this connector is in underneath there. So hopefully this was helpful. If it was, let me know that down in the comments section. And you guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a bunch, and it doesn't cost you guys anything at all. Until the next time, I will catch you all later. Have a great day.